Hello, my name is Heather Rice, and I'll be discussing my Digital Unit Resources website. Before I do that, a little bit about myself. I am a credential student currently at Cal State Fullerton with a hope to become either high school or middle school history teacher. Now, as this unit suggests, the title suggests, this is going to be focusing on 11th grade American history, civil rights movement. This website is going to act as a landing pad for all this information, resources, lesson plans, guided notes. All of those resources are going to be found on this page and helpful for our students and parents. That's what this little excerpt talks about. And now I really want to discuss why I chose the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement, I think, is such a important turning point in U.S. history, the time before, the time after. So different, and we're still seeing the effects, repercussions of the civil rights movement today. So this section discusses what I want my students to understand about this topic. So this unit will focus on the civil rights movement, examining the people, events, and court cases that help promote the cause of equality for African Americans within the United States in the 20th century. There will be detailed focus on primary sources, court case documents, speeches, and legislation. A variety of civil rights leaders are going to be examined, and then we're finding those ideologies. And then students are going to be asked to consider how much the civil rights movement accomplished along with the limitations it faced. Using a wide array of technology in conjunction with in-class learning, students will foster a deep respect for the fight for equal rights African Americans faced and how it should impact their role as a well-informed and engaged global citizen. By the end of this unit, students should understand the immense work that African Americans did in order to achieve equality, its impact on subsequent movements, and the continued struggle African Americans face in today's America. This is a very activist approach to history. And if you want to pause right here, we're going to have those content standards that we're going to be hitting throughout this unit. And then just a little bit more about me, why I teach history, why I love it, where I am right now. Give you a little more information on that if you'd like. And we're going to go back up here and discuss what is history. This is my definition of history, what it is and what it isn't. So this is a lot of information. Once again, I'll just highlight some important points. Where history, for the purpose of this class, is a record of past events viewed through a variety of lenses, creating a deeper understanding of where we came from and where we can go now. We use history to inspire our present rather than as a scare tactic emanating from the past. I really want to move away from this simplistic point of view of history. It's also important to note that we're going to be using a lot of different disciplines within this class. It's not just what you normally think of as history of a biography. It's political science, it's law, education, cultural studies. Those are all going to play such a big role, especially as we focus on the civil rights movement. And this is really my goal, why you should care about history. My goal as a history teacher is to teach students about broad trends in history, examining major themes to help students draw meaning from what they are learning. I want to create the next well-informed generation who recognizes the foundations of our nation and how they can impact it for the better. I want my students to know that history is far from dead. History is important to here and now, influencing how they live their lives today. History is alive and thriving. Let's go to some useful links. These are just about 10 links that I found very useful for not only this unit, but as a class in general. So we have some on the civil rights movement, some history, digital collections. This first one is an oral history of different civil rights leaders. Obviously, they've been interviewed, great resource. Then we have some photography, and then Martin Luther King letters. We have some research tools. We're going to be using those throughout class, especially OYAs, as we focus on court cases. And then I want you to be active members in the fight for equal rights, civil rights. So here are some ways you can get involved locally. Most importantly, if you're 16 or 17, you're in 11th grade, you can pre-register to vote now. Resource to do that. And then mental health resources. I am a big advocate of destigmatizing mental health, mental illness, and these are some resources for our students to get some information, dispel myths, provide information, seek help. These are some ways to do that. Now we're going to move on to our digital interactives. These are websites that allow students to, as it says, interact with history. It's not just reading words off a page, it's applying living history. So this first one talks about the Bill of Rights, having students look at examples, see if these people have those rights. Interactive game there. And then we have this interactive timeline that has great contributions from historians on women throughout history, but also has resources from living people who talk about their grandmother and the impact she had on their community. It's a living story. I think it's an amazing source that you can add to yourself. Then we have for Crown or Colony, another kind of more interactive game. It's a well-researched game that uses primary sources, focusing on Revolutionary War. And then this finally one about the Civil Rights Movement, a journey through the Civil Rights Movement. You're going to click through videos, primary source documents, and photos to gain that deeper understanding of the Civil Rights Movement. All of the pages look a little something like this, little scenes for you to click through. Now we're going to go to our assistive technology. These are tools that we can use for our students who may be hard of hearing, have vision loss, communication skills, all of those different skills and assets we need to adjust for. So we have the Described and Captioned Media Program. This has over 8,000 captioned and described educational videos. While most teachers, you just use YouTube, they have captions, they work, but they're not always the best captions. Sometimes they're auto-generated, not going to be the most accurate, and they're not described. So they aren't going to be very helpful for our students who are blind or visually impaired. This offers both of those. And then we have this Immersive Reader. This is a great Microsoft program that takes reading, any reading you may have, and annotates it, basically can read it out loud for the student. And then if you click on certain words, there's going to be images that show you what that word means. It's great for our students who are English learners, emerging readers, maybe they have learning disabilities like dyslexia, ADD, or ADHD. This just is a great way to give greater access to materials for our wide range of students that we have in the classroom. Finally, as we're on the internet, we should talk about internet use, internet safety. So this really just describes the importance of internet safety, why you should care about it. We're spending so much time online now. Why would you not want to get some helpful tips on how to stay safe? We have this website from the FBI that gives you a couple scenarios, facts, learning about how to be safe. We have Dashlane, which is a great browser extension that actually stores all of your passwords in a safe way. And then NordVPN. VPNs are so important if you're using like public Wi-Fi, if you're at like a coffee shop or something like that. This is going to protect you from someone hacking into your computer and taking those credit cards, taking those passwords. And then this is just a little helpful infographic that gives you some great tips and a video as well. And now we're going to move on to more of the items that link directly to civil rights movement. So we have first our graphic organizer. This graphic organizer focuses on Brown versus Board of Education, Dred Scott, and Plessy versus Ferguson, hitting that California state standard of examining and analyzing the key events, policies, and court cases in the evolution of civil rights. And as I said, we're going to be focusing on Dred Scott, Plessy versus Ferguson, Brown versus Board of Education. So students will read these through these websites as linked below, and they're going to answer these questions, and they're going to be creating a concept map using the website Poplet. If you click this link, it'll go, let's see if it opens that for me. Opens our Poplet. This is the example I gave for our students. They have their picture going through all the different questions that they can answer using the above websites. And here is our more formal directions along with a rubric for the students of what I expect. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the assessments we'll be using in this class. So this first assessment is going to happen at the very beginning of the unit. I want to assess what the students already know about the civil rights movement. There's about 11 questions that it's a quick game where questions pop up on the screen. They use their computer, press what they think the answer is. There's a leaderboard. It's really engaging. Students really like it. And our last 3 questions, there's not even a right answer. I just want to hear the opinion of the students and have that really guide where the unit goes. And our final summative assessment, as this was our entry level one, we have our summative assessment that's going to occur at the very end of the unit. It's a social media campaign. I really think this is a cool project where students get to pick a moment in the civil rights movement. Maybe they want to advertise for the Montgomery bus boycott, Greensboro sit-in, Walk on Washington. They're going to be working in groups and basically be a social media manager for this event. They're going to create Instagram posts, YouTube videos, Facebook page, Twitter or TikTok, and see how they can advertise for those movements. And I want them to see how really easy it is for them to get those words out on important issues, and hope that this encourages them to be civically engaged in the power of social media they have today, and how they can be working for equal rights now in such an easy, simple way in technology they use every single day. So here's my in-depth guidelines, what I expect from them, and then the rubric as well, what I'm expecting from their groups. Next, they'll be using a choice board. This one focuses on influential figures of the civil rights movement, hitting the examine the roles of civil rights advocates. This choice board, it's an activity that allows students to pick their own work and what they choose to focus on. Project is worth 30 points. Each box is 10 points. And there's going to be multiple levels of thinking, assessed on how they research, create, interpret, and analyze information. They're going to be working to understand many important civil rights figures, and it's not going to be always the traditional ones. Like, there are parts about Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, but maybe ones they know less about, like just general women of the civil rights movement, James Farmer, Philip Randolph, all of these super important figures that aren't always talked about now. And here to our right, our left is the choice board itself, and to the right is the directions for each activity. You can go through and read some of them. Some have videos, some are aligned to technology, some are writing, group work, all different options for our students to participate in, choosing how they want to display their understanding of the topic. And they'll have to obviously create like a tic-tac-toe, so they'd go in some sort of line. Finally, we have our teacher lecture. This lecture is on the fight for equality in the courts and ballot box. This would work really well actually after our graphic organizer, because it goes more in depth on a couple of different court cases. So we talk about Loving versus Virginia, Regents of University versus Bakke, California Proposition 209, and Greta versus Bollinger. So there's really a deep focus on affirmative action, and I want students to be able to understand the significance of these court cases and laws and how they point to the continued battle for equal rights. They really span nearly half a century. And I think students really focus on the 1960s and civil rights movement, but seeing that this is a continuing event even until today, right before our eyes. So this is just a little preview of our presentation. First little page, maybe I'll even go to our content standards, give you a little preview. And then we're going to have guided notes for the students to follow along on the lecture. We can look at those all right here. They're going to fill out some graphs, make some pictures, answer some questions. This can also be found if you scroll down from teacher lecture to guided notes. Just give you that thorough understanding of how civil rights movement is continuing today and what we should be doing and the battles we are facing now. So I hope you liked that in-depth overview of my digital unit resource website. I really spent a lot of time on it and hope you enjoy it and hope you are able to use it. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.